point of being married and not living together? I mean, just think all the nights of intimacy you're missing out on.
When you remarry, there's different expectations, and you have maybe children, and
right.
You come in with some baggage.
A lot of stuff. Do you think Gen X does that? Looking for character? Are we looking for clout? Or are we looking for status?
We've got this remarried love. It's better than we dreamed of. Left the pain in the past. Just you and me.
Today, our conversation is going to be on the topic of Gen X on marriage, divorce, and loving again. Today's episode is so special because I have two lovely guests with me. They're my friends. They're part of my circle for wisdom and insight for my life. So glad they're here to share some of their insight with you. So just to get started, our first guest is Latika.
Thank you so much for having me. I would just say that I have been previously married for about a little over 7 years and had been single, I think, probably over 10 years while I raised my daughter, and I'm recently engaged. So I just
Congratulations.
thank you so much. And so that's been a really nice, interesting journey as well.
Next guest is Miss Adora.
Hi, I'm Adora, and I've been married before. I was first married when I was 21 years old. That marriage lasted 7 years, and I've currently been married for 18 years, and we have 3 children.
I am Aki. I have been married before for about over a decade. I did experience divorce and experience the process of healing to prepare myself to love again. I've been remarried now for 16 years to my wonderful husband. And so I'll be sharing my perspective from that angle. So our first topic is relationships and living apart. Coming from a woman's point of view, a lot of Gen Xers are established women in their careers or in their businesses, and you hear them say, I would like to have a relationship, but I would rather live apart. What is your take on that, Adora?
Well, when I met my current husband, I had been taking care of my kids for 3 or 4 years by myself. When we decided to move to Georgia, he was still traveling. He worked in travel, and that was perfect because I was still used to being by myself.
Yeah.
And he expected us to be kind of stuck at the hip all the time. And I just wasn't used to that. And I was like, I kind of need some space.
Right.
You know, and him having that job for probably 2 or 3 years before he just had a job that was a 9-to-5.
Right.
It helped us to build our relationship and have some space away from each other. Until we decided that we had to grow our friendship. It took a long time. It was like 7 years of courting.
Yeah.
Seriously.
While you're married?
No, before.
Oh, before.
Before,
Okay.
yes, yes. It was on and off, and it was me.
So are you saying for Gen X, it may take us longer to get to the point where we could live with our spouse?
Well, live with them, and like we had to get to know each other in the same house, and the dynamic with me and my boys was me and my boys.
Right.
That was just that's it.
Right.
You know, and so you bring someone else in, and we weren't quite clear where my fiance was fitting into that.
Right.
And so when he would leave for his work trips, it would give me and the boys time to continue our bond. But then when he'd come home, and, you know, he was kind of fun parent, you know,
Right.
we'd go out and do things, and then they developed a relationship. But at this point, I can't see living apart from him at all.
Yeah.
Not like at all. He's my absolute best friend.
So when he was traveling, you kind of were like a military wife in the sense that you got that space. Did you feel like you wanted him back, or not back, but did you want that time to get shortened when you got to the point where now I want to live with him full time? Like, how did that feeling go from, oh, I really like this time apart from him and I have time with my boys, to I loved him and I want to be around him full time?
It was I don't know, it just kind of transitioned into that.
Yeah.
It's as we grew closer, we decided to have another child, and it kind of just morphed into, but it was more or less just growing a relationship. I had to get over some past trauma, and I think that's where I was a little standoffish.
Right.
And he was patient enough to let me work through that.
You've probably heard us mention this before.
We were the children of divorced parents, and we both have been divorced ourselves.
And now we're 15 years strong in our remarriage journey. So trust us when we say we get it when starting over and building a new life together. If you're ready to reclaim your power in love, life, and money, I wrote Power Over All just for you. It's real, it's encouraging, and it's meant to walk with you as you heal and grow. There's also a companion journal to help you track your progress and reflect all year long. Grab your copy today and step fully into the power God already gave you. Links in the description. Now let's get back to the episode.
You know, sometimes he didn't understand. He'd never been married before, no kids, and was from another country. So
Right.
this was new for, both of us.
Right.
It just took some time for us to figure out where we all fit into our life together, and where he fit into the boys' life. And,
Right.
and I have a friend who does much better being apart.
And they're married.
And they're married.
Yeah.
Yeah. They absolutely do better with some time apart.
Through their job, or they actually make time apart?
They
time.
they chose to spend time apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they live in separate places?
Separate states.
Wow.
Separate states. When we first got married, we actually didn't live together because I was still living with my dad and he was in his apartment, but we had been looking for, a home and all of that. And then we closed on it and we had a home, but that all happened like after we were married. And our counselors were like, yeah, you guys need to find a house. You guys need to live together. And we were like, oh yeah, that's right. We're married. I think for me, being an only child, maybe, I mean, I know I had stepbrothers and sisters, but ultimately I thought it was like a cool idea to spend my life with someone. So that was just already inside of me. It was just, I always wanted that. And so when I met my husband, I was excited to live with him and learn how to live with each other. It was hard. And I think for our age and just life, I think second marriages quit too soon because we might feel the pressure or feel irritated more or deeper than we did in our first marriage. And we're just ready to cut it off.
And there's a way out.
Yeah, and we know there's a way out. We know how to do it now. We know that it was rough, but we can make it. And so we're like, that's the option. But I think my personal opinion is that remarriage takes longer than marriage to bond. That's not scientific. I have no data for that. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like for me and my husband, it was like 10 years. It took at least 10 years for me to feel like I think I know him. I think I do know him and I love him, but now I really know him more than I thought I did, or there's more to him than I thought. Maybe
Right.
That's it. It took me that long to get over some of the things that I was dealing with. Like you said, when we're healing from trauma, sometimes you think you're healed until you're in a relationship again. Person pushed a button that you didn't even know you had. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I am crashing out right now and I don't even know why. But it's because I wasn't challenged in that area, being by myself. Living with someone will challenge you anyway, from roommates to whatever. And then it's your husband or your spouse. You're just like, oh my gosh. So my take is that I would like to have a relationship and a marriage where we live together.
What's the point of being married and not living together? I mean, just think all the nights of intimacy you're missing out on.
Well, I guess, I guess
you're missing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're missing rituals. You're missing routine. You're missing not just physical intimacy, but just intimacy in your marriage. So then what are you going to do? You're spending all this time talking on the phone. How do you get that closeness? If I'm not going to live with my spouse, then I can just keep doing what I'm already doing. Furthermore, then that means you're financially responsible for two households. So then how can you ever come together in a real meaningful way that's committed if you're not even willing to commit to be in one another's space?
I don't think that's a majority, but if both people felt like that's the only way they could get married, that's their definition. Like, people are redefining marriage for themselves. Mm-hmm. And to me, I say that's good. Marriage is hard enough. However you have to go through it. But I guess traditionally, the marriage is between a man and a woman, and they're becoming one.
Right.
And I do feel like I have become one with my husband. And so it's hard for me, the type of person I am, it's hard for me to do that apart.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I agree. That's one of the things that was a conversation when I got engaged. He has his house. I have my house.
Right.
My daughter was in college. She's home shortly, but she's getting a job and will be moving. So we had to have a conversation about, what are we going to do? We're going to live in your house? I don't think we're going to live in his house.
Right.
I don't think we're going to live in my house. Maybe the goal is that we're going to get married and live in a house that we both share.
Yeah.
Because you're also dealing with a power dynamic. If I go to live in his house, that's been his house as a bachelor forever. I mean, we even had to get in a conversation about, he tickles me. He's like, I said, you got to buy some new sheets and some new towels. And he's like, telling all his friends, she just thinks some woman slept on those sheets. And I'm like, well,
everything.
look, I don't want to chance it. And I don't know. So look, you got to get some new sheets up in here. I want some new towels and I want some new, you're getting into all of these different things. But in order for me to be comfortable in his space, I need some accommodation. For me, I have a new bed. Nobody's ever been in my bed. So,
but he might be like, I don't know that. I don't
yeah,
know who's
he
been up here.
didn't know that. But my home is a power dynamic that it's my
It's your
home, you
Yes.
know? And so the power dynamic is that to be a neutral territory, we both discuss probably best for him to keep his house because he plans on keeping his house. I plan on keeping my house. We'll get another house.
Yeah.
And those are good problems to have. I'm grateful to be able to say that this is a challenge that, we'll have.
That both people have a house.
Both people have a
first
house.
of all.
And I want to add one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
If the man didn't want to live with me, I'd be like, you know what, you just don't like me.
You would feel some type
I would
of way.
feel some type of way. I would
You
say,
don't wanna live with me?
you don't want to live with me. You don't want to see my beautiful face every day. You don't want to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with me. You don't want to
Right.
I would be thinking,
I mean,
you don't like me enough to marry me. That would really give me pause. Or I would be thinking, is there some type of alternative lifestyle secret? Is what's really going on?
Yeah, it would give you something
that it would really give me pause if the person did not want to. They didn't want to
if they didn't wanna-
cohabitate.
yeah. It's very hard to cohabitate, especially at our ages. We're set in our ways a little bit. We have our routines. We have the way we are. And then you are blending that with someone else that has years of doing what they have done. And so I actually think being remarried is much harder than when we got married. For me, when we were younger, it just seems more whimsical. It seemed like you don't have to stress about a lot of stuff because I didn't have children when I got married at first. I didn't have I don't even know if I had a job. I know I might have had a job.
You had a great job.
I
Let
had
me
a-
remind
okay.
you. Girl is
So,
smart. This smart girl
We
right
all
here.
are smart.
Smart
So
girl right here.
I just don't remember the weight of marriage when I got married. It was more like the excitement.
When you're looking at getting remarried, I think that there are a lot of things realistically that people have to look at and evaluate. And it is a touchy subject, but for sure, where you're going to live and finances, something that needs to be examined.
You still are on topic 4, which is remarriage expectations.
Oh, okay.
You just go right to it every time. You'll bring it right around. And then you should.
It's important to her right now.
We're going to get to that. Okay, we're just going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the other topic later. So we're going to just get into remarriage expectations.
When you remarry, there's different expectations, and you have maybe children, and
Right.
you're coming with some baggage.
A lot of stuff. My expectations were so different. When people talk about high value men and high value this, when we were coming out of college, I don't know what high value was because nobody was 6 figures that I knew at that time.
You were like, is he cute?
For me, yeah, it was like maybe my dad's friends were considered that. And it was just like, does he want to work? Was kind of,
Right.
I don't know. That was high value. He
Yeah.
wants to work.
You got a job.
And
Okay.
he's nice. And maybe he had a
Girl, I disagree. I've known you for so long. She was talking about what's his 5-year plan.
maybe, but I don't know. Maybe I said that.
Yes, you
but
did.
I just don't even remember.
I do.
I don't remember it being a
What's his 5-year
thing
plan?
like
Yes, it was.
a thing that would keep me from getting. I don't remember the person I married having that or whatever. But all I'm saying is that wherever I was then, none of that kind of mattered when I got remarried. I was looking for totally different things.
I agree.
Like, I wanted, what I considered high value was a man of character and a man who loves God. And it was funny because I used to ask people I was dating at the time, I said, okay, let me go back. When I was younger, my question might have been, do you have a passport? That was like important. Do you have a passport? Have you left the country? Okay, so who cares right now? Now my remarried expectations was, who do you call on or where do you go when you have no one to turn to? That was my question to people I had dated. And so some gentlemen would be like, oh, my big brother, my brother is, da, da, da. Some people would say, my dad is my rock and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, what will happen when your dad passes? And he was like, I don't know. I would. So when I asked my husband that, he said, oh, the first thing I do is pray. And I'll ask God. And he wasn't saying it like he just was saying the answer. He already knew, like he had been in that situation and he could tell me this is what I had to do. This is how I felt. So then I had to ask him a different way just to see if that was really who he goes to. And I wanted to know who governs your life when you have no one to call. That was like high value to me. Mm-hmm. The way that he was expressing that in the conversations we had, I knew that if that's who he goes to, then we could probably work it out.
I think that brings up a really good point. Have people really thought through and evaluated what values they're looking for, character? I think when you're talking about being remarried or being married for the first time, I say we're looking for values and we're looking for character.
Do you think Gen X does that? Do you think overall, are we looking for character? Are we looking for clout? Or are we looking for status?
Some people definitely looking for status. They want to be able to say, my husband does this occupation or my wife has this occupation. So status is definitely something I think is very important to a lot of people. Money is very important. They want to say they have this, that, or the other. I would say you never always know what somebody's financial ability, mm-hmm. capabilities are. All that glitters is not gold. Mm-hmm. And I believe that social media has given people a really unrealistic expectation of what the finances, reality, the world. And I know for me, I would rather have $5,000 extra in the bank than $5,000 purse. It's this whole idea of what other people think that I think stymies and trips up a lot of people in relationship. Comparing people and comparing yourself to other people's relationships, especially social media, I think is just ruinous. And my other thing I tell people, and I tell myself, the grass is green where it's watered. So if you focus on yourself, your partner, your spouse, and you nurture that, I believe you have a higher chance of your needs being met, and so that you will be reciprocated back. Mm-hmm. And then if you're not, there's a way to communicate rather than, I feel, listening to some bad advice.
What expectations did you have, Adora, that were different?
My first husband, we did the dream, the house, the car, but it was all fake. Yeah. It was to prove to everybody the facade was there, you know, look at us. And then behind closed doors, it was just resentment and all kinds of issues that we had. Yeah. So going into my second marriage, I had the spirit of growth, of being a better person, of working through why the first marriage didn't work because I felt like it should have. Yeah. And I also felt like I gave up too soon. And I thought, let me not do this again. Let me not just throw in the towel. Let me put in the work.
Oh, you did, beautiful. You did something rare that most people, I'll say for women, they don't take any accountability for their part of the marriage dissolving. You know, I think that's good that you did that because it will make your relationship different when you show up differently. Right. You know what I mean? If you show up the same way, you're probably going to get the same results. Literally. I felt that way too at some point. I felt like, well, this divorce didn't happen because of me, but there were still things that I did in the marriage that I didn't want to take into my second marriage. Right. I think in my first marriage, I had finances. I had that, and it still doesn't help when you don't have love or trust or honesty or whatever. So then it wasn't a big thing, because I shouldn't say a big thing. Finances are very important, but it wasn't so much how much do you have right now. It was more like, how do you manage what you have right now? If you have a little or a lot, it doesn't matter. It's how do you handle the cards you are being dealt right then.
Right.
And I have seen people that don't have any money, and the way that they give or work or hustle or side or do this to make it work and make ends meet. And then you'll see people that literally make a lot of money and they can't ever seem to pay their bills. They can't ever seem to grow anything. Everything is destructive, but you're making a lot of money. So my expectation about the actual number in finances, I was looking more at how the individual was handling what they were working with right now.
I don't know, I didn't take finances into account so much. I really didn't.
Like, how?
How can you not?
Yeah,
How
I
did
really
you do that?
didn't. No, it was, I was so relationship focused.
Yeah.
I really was. And it was like, because we've been through so many ups and downs.
Right.
I mean, it's scraping pennies to having in excess, and let's go buy this car.
Are you
and
talking about your
my
first?
current
your
husband.
current husband,
Yeah,
okay.
we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is those ups and downs are what grow you. Mm-hmm.
But some people don't want that. They just don't. I don't want any struggle. They think it's struggle love. They think if you marry somebody and they don't have any money, then you're going to be struggling.
But that's not true.
Well, I'll say this. You can marry somebody with a lot of money and struggle.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's the only thing.
It's a different struggle.
I don't know how to unstruggle marriage. And when I hear people say like the soft life and this and my husband does that and this and that, and I'm like, you should really be thankful, because most people don't have that constant dynamic. I've never personally have seen a real marriage not have any financial struggle.
Right.
I just haven't seen it. I have seen people who would be considered well off lose what they had because, for example, a person had a gambling problem that had like generational wealth, and they lost it. And if you looked at that and you married that person, you thought, hey, we're fine.
We're set.
And yes, they had support to get it back, but that was the struggle that they had to do. And there was shame involved. I mean, it's like, for me, I look at that differently now than I did when I was younger. And, he has to have a 5-year plan. He has to do this and do. I was saying a lot of things back then.
Me too.
As
you said that, I remembered my first husband did not go to college. And it was an expectation. And so I'm like, so when are you going to college? We were so young. And I'm thinking,
that's what
you're going to school, right?
Yeah. You
and he had no interest. And he's fine today.
Yeah.
He's absolutely fine with money and all that. I pushed my expectations on him.
That's deep. Yeah.
Yeah. And
don't we do that? As we put the expectations sometimes that are put on us on the other person.
Right.
Well, I wasn't able to do A, B, and C, so I'm going to expect you to do it.
Right.
And
or this is what I did, and this is what you're going to do too.
Right.
Because it's what we do. And not considering where he came from, how he grew up. And like I said, he did make it work. He absolutely made it work. And he has a wonderful job today. He's doing great. And he's remarried as well.
Yeah, and you have your whole situation is great because, as you already stated, you and your ex are kind of, I wouldn't say friends, but...
We're cordial.
Yeah, you're cordial.
We're cordial.
And even your husband and your ex are cordial.
Yes.
And that's nice.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Did you have another expectation that was different now or that you're feeling now than you did when you first were married?
My expectation, I really can't speak on that because there was some dysfunction. Mm-hmm. My ex-husband would also say that I divorced him and that I gave up on him too soon. And my response is I did the very best that I could.
Right.
So when I did decide that I'd had enough, I feel as though I gave it my all. So I really had no regret about my decision. He did think that we would be able to get back together.
Yeah.
But the trust and there were so many things that had broken down during that time that I just had no interest. It took time for us to, because we share a child together, so we're cool, we're cordial. And to your point, he did not graduate from college. I do have a college degree from a Big Ten school, but that was never really a barrier for me, because I have so much respect for so many people that did not have formal education. My dad didn't graduate from college.
Right.
I have the utmost respect for him. There's so many occupations that make great money.
Yeah.
And my ex-husband right now, he's doing extremely well. He makes a lot of money, and everything worked out for him, and he was eventually able to turn things around for himself, and I'm happy for him. You know, he's somewhat co-parented our daughter with me. I've had the bulk of the responsibility.
Did that change your expectation
I
of
had
what you want in a marriage now?
what it made me feel is that you can't make anybody do anything that they don't want to do. If they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. So you have to meet a person where they're at, and you can't meet somebody thinking that you can change them, thinking that you could want more for them than they want for themselves. You cannot meet anybody thinking that you can influence them in that way. You have to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a big person on values and character and acceptance. And you have to enjoy that part of them if you're
Yeah.
going to be with them. You can't meet somebody and say, oh, if they only, well, you know, I can fix them up. I can help them do this. I can help them with
The
this career.
fixer-upper.
Or I can help them with their business. Or we're not here to rescue people. We're here to love people as they are and appreciate them. Because if you're going into it and you think you're going to fix and change, then you're telling them that they're not good enough. You're
Right.
diminishing them, and you're starting at a deficit and not at a positive. And there's so many people that are successful in their career. I mean, I know so many men that are doing phenomenally well. Phenomenally. They run circles around my little college degree. So I don't put any judgment on a person that doesn't necessarily have, you know, what we call a formal education.
So was that an expectation you had when you first got married? I want to have a college educated man. And now as we get older, you see that doesn't really even matter. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not diminishing a college degree. I'm saying that when it comes down to your marriage, the college degree doesn't matter in that sense. So
for me,
did it change?
For me personally, now one thing about people that have a shared experience, a shared college experience, then you have, of course, a lot of things in common.
Right.
College, you may join organizations, sports, other activities, and so therefore clubs, also things that you read. You may be able to have conversations, discussions about certain things that maybe people that didn't go to school may not be able to participate in. But at the same time, I feel as though life and education is ongoing, and we should always strive to learn and to grow and to continuously read and educate ourselves. And I've met so many people that didn't necessarily go to college that are really smart people. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't take anything away from them on that.
Well, just in the expectation point for you,
For me,
just for expectations, did your expectation from your first marriage to going into your next marriage, do you feel like they changed, and what changed?
no.
have
I
the same
expect a man to be a man.
What does that mean?
I expect him to handle his business. I
Because
expect
men
a
are so
man-
different.
I expect him to be the man. I don't want to think for him. I expect him to handle his business. I expect him to be capable. I decided I wanted a man that I could love and I could respect. Part of me respecting the man is that he respects himself and he's capable of handling his business with or without me, and also that he has the ability to care for me as his wife, because I'm not getting ready to take care of a man. That's not my job.
Yeah, what I hear with a lot of Gen X is that we want the man to be self-sustainable and enough to sustain me.
Yes.
However, we're not necessarily that for them. We're not self-sustainable and able to sustain them because we're not going to.
I disagree.
I don't feel that way. That wasn't like my financial expectations were different. I'm just saying I hear people have these interesting expectations on the man. Like the man has to he has to be spectacular, which all of us would want a spectacular man. He's handling his business. He's always leading. He's handling, and he's doing it. But I don't.
It's a lot on them.
That's
too.
a lot.
Yeah.
And deal with me. I mean, who?
I want to be the helpmate. I'm not trying to run everything. I don't want to be responsible for every single thing in that household. And sometimes women do find themselves in the position where they start off one way and then the dynamic of that relationship changes.
So the dynamic of now, he's going to take the lead. Are we as Gen X women ready to relinquish the control?
Yeah, we tired.
The decision.
Now, yes.
Yeah.
But
We're
18 years
tired.
ago, no. No, I wouldn't relinquish anything.
Right.
Yeah, we tired.
Like I still.
It was, I think,
Yeah.
because we were talking about this before, like, it was independent. You had to be independent. You had your own money, your own job, your own
I had something
this.
to prove.
You had that. And then people were judging you as far as like, well, have you done this or are you doing this? I mean, I felt a lot of pressure from my family because they expected me to do, I don't know what the end goal was for them, but it was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to go in that direction.
Right. And end goal, literally. That's it, and everybody else's expectations of us.
Right.
I really let that lead me. It kind of powered everything I did to make sure that I presented. It was like living some kind of Facebook life,
Yeah.
Like facing everybody. I needed to come up there with, visit my family with a new car and, the nicest things and look at my house. And now I'm looking at my house like, it's too much house.
Yeah. Like, now I have to clean this.
Exactly.
I had a house that was like, it was so much to clean. I was like,
And
I
now my
didn't think
car,
that.
I'm just going to drive it until I can't drive it anymore.
Yeah.
You're just in a different space.
I remember when I had a Oldsmobile. Like, do they even make that anymore? That was like
No.
my car while I was out of college and my first job.
Girl, you telling on yourself.
I can tell on myself. And the crazy thing was that everyone had an issue with it. Like, why don't you get a this or that? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
runs.
And they're like, you're driving. And
It was a big, long, old
it was a
car,
big
girl.
old, it was my grandmother's car.
long, old car.
And they gave
I had
that
a
big
Lincoln if that
lawn.
makes you feel better.
and they gave that to me.
It was like,
And I have carried so many people to so many places. It's like part bus.
Yes.
Before there was
Girl, I had a limo.
minivans. Yeah, right. Some people don't know about having a limo. And I really thought that was funny. I never bought a new car. And that's in Chicago. It's cold and snow. Like, why would I want a new car? It's going to mess it up. I didn't, I wasn't in a garage and stuff. Anyway, so it was funny because it was so old that I had met this guy before I had gotten married. And he thought like I was just driving it for a cover. He's like, I know you really have a Lamborghini or something, Lamborghini. And are you serious? And I was like, no, this is my car. And it was just so funny that my car did not fit me either for everyone else. Either they thought that you should have a better car or you're hiding your real car. And I just was like, this is crazy. I thought I'm still going to drive this Oldsmobile until it goes out because there's no car payment and the insurance was really low.
People didn't understand that.
Right.
They
I
didn't
didn't
get it.
I never wanted to be house poor and I never wanted to be car poor.
Right.
Because I had, friends and we were all growing up as adults and then they're like, I can't go anywhere. Why? Because I got to pay my rent or I have to pay my mortgage. And it's like, what? So you can't go on a trip? We can't go anywhere? Nope. I got to pay my mortgage. Or the mortgage was something that was like stopping something in their life. And I just didn't want to do that. And I was okay with, my husband and I, we bought a smaller home when we first got together. And a lot of people had problems with that. What are you doing? Are you okay? Are you struggling? No, we made a conscious decision. Even though we had two incomes at the time, we were like, we want to be able to live off of one income.
And that was smart. See,
That's
didn't
just
do
what we
that.
wanted to
We were
do.
trying to show everybody how great we could be, and it to our demise. Seriously,
Yeah.
Like we weren't trying to grow our relationship or any of that. It was better job, a newer car, and nothing good was happening in the relationship.
But you had the best stuff.
Right.
And people be like, "Ooh, Adora."
And so that's like what the expectations of how somebody's going to treat you versus the finances. You know, that I think that's what I was honed in on with my current husband.
Right.
He, from day one, he treated me like a queen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No matter how much money we have or didn't have.
Right. It wasn't a dictator of that.
Right.
Or how we treat them.
Right.
It can't be, well, I treat you good when you're making money.
Right. No.
But then when you don't make money, I don't like you.
Exactly.
What do you think about this? So some people were like, I want my husband to do this for me and that for me and this for me and that for me. But a lot of these high value men work a lot. That's how they can afford that lifestyle. Right. So then it's like, well, he doesn't spend any time with me. So some ladies have said that living and loving a high value man or a man who's working hard or whatever, they don't see them a lot. Sometimes they want that. And then you have a man who may have a 9-to-5 job or a job that he has flexibility and he can be with you, but he's not making as much money as a man that can do all this. What do you think, or have your expectations changed on how much a man is doting over you or how much a man is just supplying for you, basically? Did that change?
That's just a matter of your values and what you value. I guess I thoroughly enjoy being with my husband.
Yeah.
Just being in his presence and being around him.
Right.
But if you don't,
right.
you know what I mean, and you value money more, then it's up to the individual what's important to you.
I would honestly say that definitely what we call high value men, you know, they're going to have an occupation typically that they're going to be busy. They're going to be making a lot of money no matter what that occupation, if they're a business owner, if they're going to whatever their profession is, or they're going to be away. And my fiance works an awful lot in his industry. In terms of him doting on me and giving me time and attention, I would say that I'm busy as well, so I work, but I do value time, you know, even over money. I think about when I was raising my daughter, I stepped back from work to a degree because I wanted to be home and get her off the school bus.
Do you want that from your...
I want that for my relationship, and I do feel as though when you come together in this age group later on in life, you have to have conversations about together. What do you like? What do you like? What's your expectation of the time that we spend together? What's your expectation of the time you get to spend alone? All these things I feel can be overcome if you have a conversation about it.
So what would you say to a Gen X woman who has been divorced and she's had a bad divorce, there's a lot of trauma. She's hurting right now, but she also does want to love again.
I would say be open to love. You can't walk around and speak negative things into existence. You can't say, I hate all men. And I cringe because I have some friends that have been through bad experiences and they say, oh, I hate men right now. And I say, please don't say that. I love men. Men are wonderful. There's so many men that are just awesome, from our fathers, our brothers, our coworkers. The men in my life have been amazing. And I've had some bad experiences. So let's just say I've had some bad experiences, but I'd say be open, because they're just like there's so many women, there's so many men in our age group that are sincere and great guys, and they're really needing and looking for a wonderful woman. And
how did you become open?
My friends really helped me. I would say I'm the type of person, if I would go out, I would think nobody likes me, nobody's trying to talk to me, and my friends would be like, takes a brick to fall on your head. And it took a brick to fall on my head, because I consider myself just nice and friendly, but just because people are being nice to me, I did not assume that they liked me and they were trying to flirt or talk with me. So when I say be open, I really mean literally, if you go out and someone says hi, say hi back. It's literally,
you don't have to carry
carry all of these different things in your head. I think it's really just as basic as if you go somewhere and a man gives you eye contact and you smile, wherever it's at, you could be in the store, you could be wherever, because men do look at us. And I think we're so used to just looking away or scurrying off or doing something, but give a little energy back. If someone's looking at you and smiling at you, smile, hi. It sounds
just like soft. It's kind of like soften your heart.
Soften your heart.
It's not. It doesn't get so hardened and bitter.
Yeah.
What would you say to help a person going through that is hurting now but does want to love again?
Yeah, like you just said, to soften your heart. Don't sell yourself short.
I would say to a young lady that's hurting, 1, allow yourself to grieve. Definitely, like, just go ahead and get it out. 2, I would say forgive yourself. Sometimes there's shame put with divorce, being single sometimes, or you failed, or we were supposed to do this and we didn't, we dropped the ball or whatever. But just forgive yourself, forgive everyone involved, and start with a new slate each day. I think when I was going through that transition, I just had to take it day by day. I had good days and I had bad days, but I knew that I wanted to be in a relationship. The man that you would like to love again, you can keep that in your mind instead of the bad things that happened. I had to change my thoughts, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking too much about what already happened. It's done. Let me think about how this new man would be. I even wrote some things down. Like, I wrote down the things I would like. And it just so happened when I met my husband, he had written down things about me too. Like, there is a man that's going through something that you went through. In a different way, of course, but my husband had gone through a divorce, how he felt, and we were actually experiencing that at the same time, and we didn't know that until we met each other. So there's still hope. There's still good men out there. I don't know who told anybody that there isn't. So that would be my advice.
I have one thing that I want to comment, that I want to ask. Do you feel as though being remarried for the second time makes you appreciate marriage more and appreciate your relationship more?
Definitely. I think being married and having lost a marriage made me respect, appreciate. I kind of feel bad that had to happen, but for me it did. My remarriage I put higher than almost anything in my life. And I don't know if I did that with my marriage. I mean, I was like into my career, into different things, but yes. So I want to thank you ladies for being here and joining us on Remarried Love in this conversation. Your insight is so valuable, and I think there's going to be a lot of takeaways from this. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Remarried Love. Share this podcast with someone you know would benefit from this conversation.
If you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you love to listen.
See you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
We've got this remarried love. It's better than we dreamed of.